Let there be smoke.
Like when the girl looks.
We are the guys from the Did You See That Mixed Martial Arts podcast. I'm Mike Straus, a.k.a. Straus21. That is Taje Mahal.
Chicago's #1 underground comic. So underground, you don't even know the hell I am.
We have a ton of shit going on this week, as you probably do too. This is a crazy week for mixed martial arts, right? You have PFL 3 Thursday, TUF 27 finale Friday, UFC 226. It's International Fight Week. We have a bunch going on too. We're going to squeeze in, I don't know, we're probably just going to go about 20 minutes or so. We're just going to talk about the 3 aforementioned cards and give you our thoughts and maybe some picks. Let's get to it, bud.
Yeah, man.
Your father's fighting. Daniel Cormier is his father. Not really, but
I claim him.
He thinks it is.
Listen, if you can't claim somebody as your dad, I'm going to do it, all right?
Sure, why not?
Well, listen, everybody says, have the life you want. And in the life I want, Daniel Cormier is my father. But on a real note, Daniel,
does he beat Stipe?
Yes, he does. I think he beats Stipe.
Becomes a new heavyweight champion.
He becomes the still undefeated heavyweight champion. Okay. He never lost his title. He just left Strikeforce, which had a better heavyweight division at the time, and came over to the UFC. That was really it. And then he was, out of the kindness of his heart, because he didn't want to stomp out Cain Velasquez, decided that he was going to drop down to light heavyweight and compromise his body.
Yeah. I, too, think that DC will win. I wrote a piece for Combat Press. I don't know if it's out yet. Check it out. It basically, in a nutshell, says why I believe DC will beat Stipe, and I think he's going to make it look pretty easy. And it's not that I don't think Stipe is a great fighter, because I do believe he's probably the best heavyweight to ever be champion, but it's
second best.
It's more of where DC, but it's more of how good I believe DC is. And if you go back and you watch Stipe's fights, every single one of his fights, he gets hurt, he gets rocked. He ends up being able to recover, fight through adversity, and win. He's not going to do that against DC. If DC hurts him, he will close that deal 100 times out of 100 times. I think that will be the difference in the fight. DC will win, and I don't think it'll be it's not going to be this crazy war people think.
I think it's going to be a good fight, because I need to really stop betting against Stipe. But, man, in my personal opinion, if DC had never went down to light heavyweight, he would have been the champion at heavyweight. Mm-hmm. And I think he would have easily gotten 5, 6, 7 defenses. Because, really, can you make an argument that anybody in the heavyweight division is better than DC Cormier?
No.
DC Daniel Cormier.
I think Cormier is the greatest of all time. I think he's better than John Jones, better than Silva. The only one I think maybe could be up there is George. But
that's because George beat everybody in every era, I would say, that we've had so far.
There was fights that he did leave on the table. The Anderson fight was something that at the time that was kind of left. But I just think DC is the best to ever do it. How about Max Holloway putting his belt on the line against undefeated Brian Ortega? What do you think?
Did everybody forget that he knocked out Frankie Edgar? Like, I need to make that clear again. He knocked out.
I don't think people forgot. Frankie. It was his last fight.
I just feel like a lot of people, because I've talked to a few people about this, and everybody's just like, oh, well, Max Holloway is one of the greatest featherweights. Why? Because he beat Jose Aldo twice. That's the only person he's beat twice. That could just be that he has his number. I think Max Holloway's an amazing featherweight. I think he's a great fighter. I thought he could beat Khabib just because he has the skill set to kind of do it. He's crazy enough to do it. But where did we forget that Brian Ortega knocked out Frankie Edgar? I've never seen that in my life. Jose Aldo couldn't do it. Gray Maynard dang well got very close and couldn't do it.
Yeah, twice.
You know, Frankie Edgar is the only man I know that is happier with his nose broken than he is doing anything else.
So you like Ortega?
I like Ortega in this fight. And actually the deciding factor in this, one, Ortega's huge for featherweight. You look at his body, I don't even know how he makes the weight, because he doesn't look horrible at the weight cut, you know, when he's weight cutting, but he is huge. He has power. We've seen that. And his jiu-jitsu is just another level. It's very rare in today's MMA where we see a guy who is absolutely frightening off his back. Just absolutely frightening, because everybody kind of knows how to hold control on top and things like that. It's very, very rare that we have a guy off his back that is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that is Brian Ortega to a T. And Max Holloway is great on the ground. But there are levels to this, man. Like Joe Rogan said, there are levels to this.
Yeah.
You know, and the level of ground game that Brian Ortega has, and I don't think they're too far apart when it comes to stand-up. So when I take a look at that, and then I just look at the mentality of Brian Ortega is, he's special. There's something about him. Like, you look at him, he oozes special.
Yeah, I think that Ortega will win this fight too. I think this is the first time that these guys are going to fight, but they're pretty close in age, and I definitely think they've separated themselves as the creme de la creme in the featherweight division. So I believe this is the first of 3 or 4 fights these guys will probably have. I don't know about the other fights, but I do think Ortega will get the better of him. And as you said, I suspect his jiu-jitsu will probably be the difference maker, because I really believe that their stand-up is closer than people perceive it to be.
Frankie
Max is a phenomenal fighter. I just think Ortega is gonna get him this time around. And then also on the pay-per-view main card, you have Michael Chiesa going against Anthony Showtime Pettis. This is a fight that was supposed to happen before at 223. It didn't because of the Conor McGregor melee. So this is interesting, man, because I never realized how big of a man Michael Chiesa was until I stood next to him. Wow. I'm almost 6'2". He makes me look small. He's got 2 inches on me. He's an easy 6'3". He is massive for 155 pounds. Pettis is not a small lightweight by any means. I just think their trajectory is a little bit different right now. Pettis might be not going down, but he might not be going up. Maybe just kind of plateaued. And I believe Chiesa is going up, and he is just so big. So I think Chiesa will get the better of Pettis, man.
It's a sad day where I'm sitting here talking about how I think Anthony Pettis is not going to win, because there was a point in time in my life, very recently in my life, where Anthony Pettis was the baddest man on the planet. Like, I truly believed he was going to have a reign such as BJ Penn and, you know, Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre. I think we all did. He was on the Wheaties box. There was only one way for him to go, and it seemed up. And it's very strange that we sit here not very, you know, far apart from that, and we're really thinking that Anthony Pettis is still not the greatest in the world, and it's sad. It shows how quickly the sport changes and how quickly things can happen.
So who do you like in the fight?
I like Michael Chiesa.
Okay.
Anthony Pettis is actually decently small for a lightweight, comparably to some of the guys at lightweight, because there is no 165-pound division, so the top of the top guys are huge. And I remember watching UFC.
So you like Chiesa. We don't have time to go off of tangents, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have Khalil Roundtree and it's Gokhan Saki. Who do you like?
Gokhan.
Why?
Gokhan Saki is just a veteran when it comes to striking. His last fight, though, he got pieced up pretty well.
But he came back.
He came back with a heck of a punch. It depends on where this fight goes, man. If Roundtree can take it to the ground and, you know, stay away from stand-up, I think he can win it. But too many guys like to strike, and Roundtree is a decent striker, so I think he's going to want to try to strike a little bit. So I'm going to say Gokhan Saki is going to be able to pull it off just from his veteranness of being one of the greatest strikers in kickboxing.
I like Roundtree. I think Roundtree is more than just an okay striker. He's a very good striker. He's been constantly improving. He looked great 2 fights ago against Paul Craig. I think that he will beat Gokhan Saki, but Gokhan Saki could, you know, he is a phenomenal striker. So, you know, it could go the other way, but I just think that Roundtree will get it done. And then, man, this card is so good that you have Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou. Come on, are you kidding me?
This is weird, man. This is a crazy card, because I would have just been happy with DC versus Stipe and just like, yay, thank you. But, oh, no, we're also going to give you the biggest barn burner you've ever seen in the heavyweight division since, I don't know, I would say Mark Hunt and Bigfoot Silva won.
Oh, that was a crazy fight.
So this is kind of this fight looks like that to me. It has the possibility of being that. Or it has the possibility of being Francis Ngannou versus Alistair Overeem. We don't know. Or it has the possibility of being Travis Brown versus Derek Lewis. One of those are going to happen.
Yeah, I like Derek Lewis. I think he'll win. And I know it's not the popular pick, but, you know, I think that Francis Ngannou, hasn't, when he's been tested, we haven't seen him bounce back. Listen, when Derek Lewis needs to, he pulls something out of who knows where and manages to have these amazing comebacks. And he's grit, man. He's all heart. And hey, you know, Ngannou, when he's faced adversity, he's never came back. I think that'll be the difference. I'm going Lewis.
I don't pick against Francis Ngannou because he scares me.
Man, and then how about the TUF 27 card? That's coming on Friday. So we have Saturday, Friday, and we have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There's an easier way of saying it, right? So, man, just loaded. Quickly, we're not going to go through all the fights, man, but obviously the big one, Brad Tavares, Israel Adesanya. Is this too much for Israel? Too soon?
No.
Why not?
He won. He's 13-0, correct?
Yeah.
13-0. So 13 fights to face a guy like Brad Tavares. I apologize if I butcher your name.
Brad Tavares.
To face him, I don't think it's a huge step up in competition, but he should be ready at 13-0. 13 fights in with the talent and
plus
the performances he's displayed.
He's got like another, I don't know how many, but 20 or 30 kickboxing fights too. So he's, you know.
Yeah, he's very experienced.
Right.
And I think this is the right time for him. I think the UFC is building him up properly. Yeah. He's going to get a guy like him. If he can win this fight, you know, give him a top 10 and then get him in the top 5. You know, he's being built up right. I think this is the perfect fight for him, and it's going to tell us exactly where he is. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if the criticism is really just either. I mean, you said it is a step up in competition, yes, but is it too much? I don't suspect it is. I think Israel will win. But just a quick shout out too on the TUF 27 card to Violent Bob Ross and Stephen Ocho Peterson, 2 friends of the show too. They compete on the prelims, so we wish them the best of luck there. And then lastly, real quick, man, let's touch on the PFL. PFL 3 going on here from DC on Thursday. Your boy Jake Shield fights.
Yeah, I stopped betting against that guy. Honestly, I really did. I bet against him twice and lost each time. And that was Dan Henderson and Mayhem fights I bet against him.
Yeah, I remember that Henderson fight, dude. It was crazy.
It was really crazy. And you know what? I can make a case that Mayhem won that fight. Anyways, that's not the point. Here's the point. Jake Shields is a veteran. He is crafty. And for some reason, he is a winner. Yeah. At the end of the day,
he trains with the Diaz brothers. I'm sure has a lot to do with it.
That does, but I just think that some people are just winners. When the lights are on brightest, they just pull it out. And I think that, unfortunately, he's going to beat, what's the guy's name again?
Ray Cooper III.
And he fought his father, correct? You were telling me about that? So I think he is going to be able to say he beat up his dad and his son, and it's going to be awesome.
And then how about Abubakar Nurmagomedov going against Pavel Kuch? And yes, that is Khabib's younger brother.
I'm afraid of the Nurmagomedov family. Have you seen their father?
Yeah.
That man is the scariest looking man ever. Mm-hmm. Imagine coming home and disappointing him.
Yeah, right?
It's like, you didn't clean your room. I'm so sorry.
Well, if you've ever heard like interviews with Khabib and those Dagestani, those guys, man, I don't know what it is, but they all have this tremendous belief, but it's not just in themselves. It's about Mother Russia and God, and it's something that I can't understand. But
they're just scary people.
It's something that I think is a part of what makes them special. So it's crazy. Also on the PFL 3 card, man, is Eddie Truck Gordon, Rick Story. So some UFC vets are on that card. It's going to be a decent little card, man.
The PFL is putting on some great fights, and they need to get more recognized for them.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
PFL 2 in Chicago was phenomenal.
It was a really good night.
Even if you're sitting there like me who didn't know everybody's name, wow, it was an awesome night of fights.
And then before we get out of here, I know you wanted to talk about Oscar De La Hoya signing Chuck and Tito for a third fight.